Hi, welcome back to bringing yoga into our daily lives. Today we will be learning Soucha. This is the niyama. Purity and cleanliness. We can practice this by keeping our mind clear and in the present moment, our heart pure and our body clean. We slow down our thoughts with our breath as to focus and filter and consider our words and intent for the goodness of all. We take good care of our body and practice cleanliness. As we practice these things, we come into alignment where our focus and expression becomes the present moment. Our present moment brings us awareness at what is happening at this very moment in our life. This is the moment, the most important time of our life here and now, where we have the power of change. We can practice Soucha by decluttering, organizing, eating clean, making practices of cleanliness as it becomes habit. We naturally become more clear of mind. Things become easier to manage. With cleanliness, we move into more positive patterns as we can come more easily focused our minds on what is important. The present moment that awakens us into unlimited possibilities. So here we are. We're going to start with alignment in our breath. Inhaling and exhaling. So wherever you are comfortable, whether we're standing, sitting, or lying down is fine. Let's just shut the eyes for a moment and come into our breath, bringing all our energy into the breath, feeling that expansion, and as we exhale, that grounding back to the earth. So as we inhale, we draw the energy up through the body, all the way to the crown, and as we exhale, we move all the way back down into grounding. As we continue the breath, inhaling and exhaling, we bring our thoughts inward. We focus on how the body feels. One more deep breath here as we center body and breath, keeping our breath with our body movement today. And even slowing down the breath. Let's go ahead and open the eyes, and if we are sitting or standing, we're going to draw the arms up and over as we inhale. And as we exhale, we release back and down. Inhaling, lengthening up. And exhaling, releasing down. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthening up and over. And this time as we exhale, let's hinge at our hips. Keep the knees soft and release all the way forward and down. Take another deep breath here. Feel the expansion through the back. And the exhale, let's bring our arms coming into the creases of the elbows. Starting to relax head, neck, shoulders, and back. Let's keep our knees soft and ragdoll here as we start to bring our breath in and out of the nose. Feeling that expansion in the hips, the abs, the back, through the shoulders. And as we exhale, we release, letting go of tension, stress. Focusing on a deep breath here as our knees are soft. And while we're here relaxing, let's shake the head yes. And And then let's still the head and look side to side. And then relax the head again and shake the head no. Releasing the head, neck, shoulders, and we're letting go of the arms here. Let's inhale into a flat back. Let's ground through the heels, tighten our glutes as we have a flat back, and inhale, start to draw up and over. Exhale, let's bring palms together, heart center. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, start to release back into our forward fold. Inhale, let's come into half back. Exhale, let's sit it back into our chair pose. You can keep hands on knees. Let's check our knees. Make sure they don't surpass our toes, that they're behind our toes. Let's inhale, start to lengthen up and over again as we hinge up. And exhale, bring the hands all the way down. We're going to sit it back again as palms are facing down this time. Hinging back at the hips, hinging at our knees, check the toes. We also have hip width distance apart in our chair pose. Hands to heart for another breath. Let's exhale, release, hinging back up. Starting to draw into the heels as we lean the glutes slightly back and allow the toes to come up off the ground and maybe even the balls of the feet, balancing for a moment off and on the heels. Let's keep our abs tight and let's move into that mountain pose. Arms here as the shoulders roll back down, palms are forward, spread through the fingers. Let's go ahead and press into the balls of the feet, the toes, as we lift the heels now, balancing on the opposite end of our feet. Taking nice deep breaths, finding focus. Maybe even affixing the eyes on something that we can focus on so that we can balance and breathe with this. Let's come into the heels, lift the toes, and maybe lift the balls of the feet. Our knees remain semi-soft here. Let's go ahead and come back up to the toes, up to the balls of the feet, lifting those heels. And exhale, we're going to release and relax back into the ground. And here we are back at mountain pose. Let's inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, let's open those arms out and back, reaching as far back as we can and releasing back to our sides. Inhale, lengthen forward and up. Exhale, you can bring the palms forward facing and stretch those arms back as we slowly rotate back and down to our hips. Let's go ahead and bring our legs open. Coming into straddle here. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Feel the grounding in the feet. Feel the length through the torso. Starting to draw those abs in. Tucking those inner thighs, starting to squeeze those inner thighs up and inward as we draw all the way through the spine and the crown of the head. We are keeping the knees soft again, micro bent. Take a nice deep breath. Let's exhale and just open the arms, palms facing up. Relax the shoulders. Few deep breaths here, still feeling center as we bring that breath in and out of the heart. One more breath here. Let's exhale, hands come to the hips, and we're going to hinge forward, keeping that flat back. Then let's inhale, knees still soft. We're pressing through the soles of the feet. We come all the way back up. Exhale, hinging forward and down, keeping a flat back. Inhale, keep those legs tight, inner thighs tight, drawing all the way back up. And exhale again, forward and down. Inhale, pressing through the soles of the feet, flat back, lifts us back up. ahead and exhale, release the arms all the way down. Inhale, bringing one arm up. We're coming up into lateral flexion. Exhale, let that other arm glide down the leg as we reach over to that other side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, reaching up both arms. Exhale, let's let the other arm go. Grounding through the feet, draw, inhaling, lengthening upward. And exhale, lateral flexion to the opposite side. Inhale, lengthen up, exhale. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale. Inhale, lengthen both arms up. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. As we come hands to heart, let's heel toe slightly back in, but let's check. We want to come into our goddess pose. So let's check bending the knees, keeping the back flat and lengthened. And as we bend the knees, maybe we walk the toes or feet out a little bit further as knees stack right above our ankles. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring it all the way up and over. Palms face forward, exhale, goddess pose. Hinge at the knees, glutes are back as we hinge at the hips. Our shoulders roll back and down, palms forward, and we're lengthening through the torso. And here we have our root lock, where we're drawing inward from the tailbone, the root chakra, and lifting up through the spine, drawing the abs in. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen all the way up and over. We're going to exhale and continue into our sun pose. So open up, release the hands in a big sunflower here for our sunflower pose. Inhale, lengthening all the way up and over. Again, sunflower pose. Exhale, hinge back. So right here, I'm keeping my back lengthened and only hinging down and back. Option for the next sunflower, you can hinge at the hips and draw the heart forward, which brings us closer to our mat or the earth. And we could draw all the way back up. Check in with your back and body for this. If that's not good for you, you can just keep sitting up as we still move in the full circle. Inhale. Last one, exhale. Option to hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen up. Let's exhale, moonflower, elbows to the ribcage, palms forward. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, let's release the arms all the way to our side. Let's heel toe, walk it back in, hip width distance apart. And let's inhale, lift the heel on one leg, bend the knee, and come to the toes. On the opposite arm, let's bring it up, lengthening towards the ceiling. We can have hand resting on top of the other leg as we start to lift the knee just as high as we can. As we find balance here, we can take the hand to the knee and open up that leg to the side. Let's exhale, bring it back to center. Release all the way down. Hip width distance apart. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's come into monkey pose. Soften the knees, flatten the back, bring the gaze forward and the heart forward as the shoulders will roll back and down. Coming back into forward fold, getting closer to our legs. Let's come into a flat back, lifting up, and inhale, reverse swan dive as we come up and over using our glutes. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Moving on to the other leg. Let's stabilize our opposite leg. Start to lift the heel, come to the toes. As we do, let's bring one hand down to the quad and the opposite hand lengthening upward. So to the bent knee, opposite hand lengthens up. When you're ready, you can start to lift up off the floor. Bring the knee as high as you can. And if you're ready for more challenging, hand to knee. And gently start to open up that leg. Let's go ahead and start to bring that back and slowly release all the way back down. Inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half back. Exhale, hinge back, chair pose. We can roll the shoulders back, flatten the back, palms can face us. Keep the length in the back here, maybe hands come to heart. Or for more challenging, bring those arms straight out, reaching forward. One more breath. Let's exhale and slowly hinge back up. Inhale, reaching up and over. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Taking a nice deep breath, staying centered here. We're going to come to one side or the other of our mat. And let's inhale, bring it all the way up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's come into our half back. Exhale, slowly release down. Let's walk it into our downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, maybe even walking it out, stretching the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Starting to release the heels, let's make our way into our plank pose. Let's take 2 more breaths here as we keep the abs tight, length all the way through the torso. Focus on the breath. And let's exhale, gently release the knees. Let's bring it back into a comfortable child's pose. Starting to reach those hands out, shoulder width distance apart, keeping glutes on back of the heels. Let's come forward as we inhale, lengthen from knee to crown. Exhale, let's bring it back. Keep those abs nice and tight, protecting our low back as we inhale, bring it back forward. Lengthen from knees to crown, shoulders roll back and down. Exhale, let's bring it back. Inhale, lengthening forward. As we lengthen forward, let's tuck those elbows in towards the rib cage, hinge at the glutes, our hips, and start to bring our nose down, then our heart down, and then bringing the abs down as we come all the way to the floor. Inhale, coming into our baby cobra as we lift the palms, rolling shoulders back, elbows squeeze in. Exhale, let's release the palms. Inhale, coming up into that partial plank. Exhale, let's move into our extended child's pose. Inhale, let's bring our gaze forward, and exhale, walk the hands to one side, extending. Let's come back to that breath as we have 2 more deep breaths. And let's exhale as we exhale, walking back through center and reaching all the way over to the opposite side. Coming back to that breath. as we have 2 more breaths. Starting to walk the hands back to center, reaching forward. Let's move all the way back into our downward facing dog as we tuck those toes, lifting through the glutes. Finding the hip width distance apart for the feet and the shoulder width distance apart for the hands. Nice deep breaths here. We're going to go ahead and inhale, bring one heel up and back. 3-legged dog as we have another breath. And let's exhale, bend that knee. We're going to draw forward right into our pigeon pose. So knees between the hands. Take that back leg, rest the knee straight down into the mat, into the earth. Keep our hands here. If you want, you can make fists for wrists. Lengthen through the torso. Find balance here between the hips, that they are side by side as we keep our balance, and try to allow that other side here, allow it to come sinking down towards the mat. Breathing in and breathing out. So as we breathe out this time, we're going to release all the way down over that leg. You can find forearms here, and you could release the head. Or you can outstretch those arms and release the head. Let's start to walk back. And as we come back to our hands, facing forward again, shoulders roll back. We bring the gaze forward, we lift through the neck, we draw the heart forward, squeezing shoulders back and down and draw the abs in. Let's take a moment to bend the knee and point the toe upward towards the ceiling. And let's exhale, release. Let's start to tuck the back toes and lift back through 3-legged dog as we lengthen that leg up and back. And exhale, slowly release down. Inhale, opposite leg up and back. Having another breath here. And as we exhale, we bend the knee, we draw it forward for our pigeon pose. Knee comes between the hands, that back leg that is lengthened, knee moves right into the earth. Our other knee still points forward, heel is close to the hip, and we're finding balance between the hips here. So we can relax with the palms on the ground, or we can make fists for wrist. Let the shoulders roll down and back, bring the gaze forward, let the heart lift forward and up. Keep the abs tucked in. Let's start to exhale, bringing ourselves forward and down, whether it's the forearms releasing the head, or we stretch those arms further and release the head. Let's start to bring it back to the forearms. Taking a nice deep breath as we start to bring it all the way back. Whether we have palms on the ground or fists, we roll the shoulders back, we draw the heart forward, we tuck in the abs, we lengthen through the neck and bring our gaze forward. Nice deep breaths here. One more breath. Let's start to bend the knee. Point the toes upward towards the ceiling. And let's exhale, release that leg. As we do, come back to our palms of our hands, tuck the back leg toes as we're going to move into our three-legged dog. Starting to reach up and back. And slowly release. As we release, let's walk our toes, our feet towards our hands. Let's start to bring all the weight into our feet. Let's start to grab behind our legs, even grasping as far as we can, maybe the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. And just taking a few deep breaths as you give yourself a good squeeze here. And let's release that. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, forward fold. Keep those knees soft. Inhale, flat back draws us up and over as we press root through the ground and draw up. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming into half back. Exhale, grounding through the feet, coming into airplane. Palms face down, stretch the fingers back, roll the shoulders back. Keep stability into the feet here. Another breath. Let's exhale, interlace those fingers behind our back, release heart, chest, head, and start to lift those arms up off the back for our chest expansion. Go ahead and release that. Bring the hands sweeping forward. Step one leg back for our high lunge. Keep on the ball of the foot, heels lifted, front knee bends. And inhale, coming up into Anjaneyasana or our high lunge. Back heel is lifted, all toes point forward. Let's go ahead and exhale, sweep that other leg forward. Inhale, bring the arms up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half back. Exhale, up and over, reverse swan dive. Inhale, let's reach upward. And even come all the way up off the heels and into the balls of the feet, the toes. One more breath here. And let's exhale, palms come together, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, arms all the way to the ground. Soften the knees. Step the other foot back. Hip width distance apart. Stay on the balls of the feet with the back leg. Bend the front leg. Inhale, draw it up for our high lunge or Anjaneyasana. Keep the heel, back heel lifted. Abs tucked in, hips forward, reaching up. And let's draw it forward again. Hip width distance apart. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half back. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, up and over. This time, cactus arms. Exhale, palms face forward, hinge at the elbows, and gently draw one leg back into that high lunge where we lift the heel. We're on the balls of the feet and toes. And let's exhale, bring it forward, palms come together, zip down through the elbows, ground through both feet. Inhale, open up the arms, draw the opposite leg back, coming into that high lunge again, lifting the heel. As we exhale, we step forward, hip width distance apart, palms together, zip down to the elbows. Inhale, open up, draw back. Exhale, move it forward, zip up, press together. Inhale, opposite leg, draw back. Exhale, move forward, zip up. Inhale, draw back, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, forward, zip up. Inhale, draw back. Exhale, forward, zipping all the way down. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen the arms up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, hands to the ground. Let's step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, making our way into plank. Exhale, let's switch our heels to one side, coming into our plank, our side plank here as we lift the arm. And let's exhale, bring it back, shoulder width distance apart, back to our toes. Switching sides, bringing the opposite arm up. Exhale, let's bring it down, shoulder width distance apart. Soften those knees, draw those elbows in. Moving through crocodile, flatten through the back, shoulders, chest, and pelvis comes all the way down. Let's inhale this time into cobra. You can choose baby cobra. Always check in with the body. Let the shoulders roll back, let the heart shine forward, squeezing scapulas back and down. Let's find the breath as we bring our gaze forward and lengthen through the neck. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, partial plank, kneeling plank, and let's exhale into a wide-legged extended child's pose. And let's exhale. We're going to start to walk the hands back toward us. Let's have shoulder width distance apart here. We are going to move while we have our wide legs here. We're going to move into our eye of the needle. So keep one hand grounded. Let's first move into our windmill. So inhale, lengthen that arm up, over, palm faces away from you. Keep your back lengthened, stacked vertebrae as we open up here. Finding our breath. Let's exhale. Slowly sweep that through between the leg and the arm. Palm faces upward. Sweep it all the way through, reaching until the shoulder comes down, the head comes down. And we could use that hand for kickstand, or we could take that arm all the way back behind us, reaching for that opposite hip. Let's exhale, start to release that hand, bring it back into kickstand, press into our mat, into the earth as we lift back up. Let's bring our hands back to shoulder width distance apart, draw our knees back in as we come up into all fours in a tabletop, just remembering which side that you have already done. Let's go ahead and inhale, coming into cow. Exhale, moving into cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Let's go ahead and relax. Draw back to the heels. As glutes come to heels, let's reopen those knees. Let's find our shoulder width distance apart. Lengthen arms, lengthen back. Now remembering which side you did. Opposite side inhales and draws all the way up. The palm faces away from you. We're lengthening through the back, opening the shoulders, and lengthening. Finding the breath. Let's exhale. We're going to slowly sweep down between the arm and the leg. Palm faces up. Twisting enough that that shoulder comes down, the head comes down. You can use that other hand as a kickstand. You can also take it all the way around the low back, reaching for that opposite hip. Come back into the breath here. Let's let's exhale and slowly release that. Palm comes back into ground, pressing all the way back up. As we come back up, let's move our knees back under hips, stretching forward, tuck those toes. We want to move back into our downward facing dog. Now while we are in downward facing dog, let's inhale, one leg comes up and back. And we're going to exhale, bend that knee, keep the foot dorsiflex, start to stack the hips, open up. Start to lift through the knees, stacking the hips. Still breathing here. And let's exhale, slowly bring that leg back down. As we do, opposite leg inhales and lengthens up. Exhale, hinge at the knee. Start to open the hip by bringing that dorsiflex foot to the other side of you as you open, stacking hips. Stretching through the body. And let's exhale. Slowly release all the way back down. Take a nice deep breath. Let's walk our hands this time to our toes. Once again, finding the weight into our feet, our heels. Keep those knees soft. Let's inhale, half back. Let's exhale, come all the way back into our airplane pose again. Palms face the floor, fingers spread, reaching back, lifting arms, flatten that back, heart, shoulders open, abs are tight. We're grounding through the soles of the feet, micro bent knees. And as we breathe, we feel the energy from the earth, from our feet, moving through the body. As we exhale, it moves all the way back down. Let's go ahead and inhale, hinge all the way up and over. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Let's come back forward and lengthen back into our straddle pose. Heel toe out to the sides, toes point forward, heels directly behind the toes. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, let's twist open to one side. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twisting. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reaching up and over. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach up and over. Exhale, sweeping all the way down to the floor. We can bring fists here, gently bringing the weight mostly into our feet, somewhat into our hands. Lengthen through the back, maybe even heel toe, wider legs, so that we can lengthen the back, or maybe we use a block and we bring our hands on the block to elevate us. Remember, you can have any side of that block, so there's taller elevations. Trying to keep that back flat, shoulders rolled back, lengthen through the neck here. Let's start to center. One hand, palms open wide, and we're coming back into that windmill with the arm as we inhale, lengthen up. As we exhale, let's bring that arm moving towards the opposite hip. And let's exhale, gently release that. As we do, let's bring that hand, arm center, and inhale, windmill the opposite one up. And let's exhale, start to bring that arm back to the low back, reaching for that opposite hip, still opening through the shoulders. And let's exhale, gently release. Taking a moment, soften through the knees. And let's walk our hands to one side, reaching for the foot, reaching across that way, lengthening through the back, finding the center of our breath. And let's walk the hands back to the other side, keeping those knees soft. And let's exhale, walk the hands back to center. Heel, toes, and knees soften, bringing them back all the way into hip width distance apart. As we find our hip width distance apart here, let's start to bring the weight to the heels, palms up. We're coming into gorilla, so we're lifting foot, palm to sole of foot, palm to sole of foot, and toes are to the bend in the wrist. We step on our hands, our knees are so soft. We relax the back, head, neck, and shoulders. And then with each breath, we start to lengthen through the knees, stretching the hamstrings, relaxing the back. And then start to release from our gorilla. Keep those knees soft. Inhale, half back. Exhale, come into airplane. Inhale, hinge all the way up and over, pressing into the heels, glutes. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Let's come into tree pose. So make sure, once again, we have hip width distance apart. We're finding those soft knees, toes point forward. We're finding a gazing point as we bring hands to heart. Coming into the breath, we can bring one heel in. Remember, check in with the body and your balance. When you're ready, you can lift the heel. You can bring the heel above the ankle joint. You can bring the foot to the calf muscle. Try your best to avoid the knee joint. You can also bring the foot all the way into the inner thigh. If you do use the knee joint, make sure it's the arch of the foot. Connecting to the breath, to the earth, to our balance. Let's go ahead and start to open up those arms and stretch up and over like tree branches, spreading through our fingers. And let's gently exhale, slowly bring it back to center, coming back to the heart for the hands, releasing that foot leg, coming back to hip width distance apart. Let's inhale, up and over. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming into half back. Exhale, chair. Inhale, up and over. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Moving our balance to the other side. Soften the knees. Remember, we could start with the heel into the arch, both feet grounded. Finding that focusing point that we can stare at that brings breath, body, focus. When we're ready, we can peel the heel up. We can bring it right above the ankle and rest it. We can bring it to the calf muscle. Doing our best to avoid the knee, we could also bring it to our inner thigh. Nice deep breaths of stability here. Feeling that exchange of energy between you and the earth as we root with one foot, maybe both feet, down into the ground. Let's go ahead and start to open up here. Opening up the arms. Starting to lengthen up and over. Like we're tree branches reaching into the sky. Opening the palms of the hands, the fingers. And let's gently start to exhale, bringing those hands back to center, releasing that leg back to hip width distance apart. Let's inhale up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, chair. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, let's move into chair pose. Arms reach forward. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, moving back into chair pose. Reaching forward for this one. Inhale, up and over. And last one, exhale, chair. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Let's go ahead and start at one side of the mat or the other. We want to step it forward with one leg. As we do, we came from hip width distance apart, our hips are forward facing. Let's go ahead and allow the back leg to have a little bit of an angle. Let's check in with the hip width distance apart. Toes point off to a diagonal. Our front knee is bent. Ankle knee alignment, toes point straight forward, hips point straight forward. Let's inhale into our warrior one. Let's exhale warrior two, which means our hips open to the side, arms come, one forward, one back. Check in with the knee. Make sure it aligns with the ankle. You can see your big toe. Bring the gaze back over the fingertips. Let's exhale. Lengthen through the leg. We have the hips stacked and we're setting up for our triangle pose. You can bring hand to hip for the back arm. Reach it forward with that other arm. Hinge at your hip and really continue to reach forward for another breath. And then we can exhale, release that arm, hand, keep length in the back. Just twist and open through the shoulders here, and then you can bring that other arm all the way back up. Nice deep breaths here in triangle pose. And let's exhale, release. As we release, bring those hips back forward facing, hinge that front knee. Let's step it forward. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flatten through the back, press through the heels, tighten those glutes. Let's reverse swan dive. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Let's take the opposite leg and step it back. Remember, we're setting up for warrior one, so that lengthen leg out back. Let's check in. Hip width distance apart. Lengthen that leg, toes point off in a diagonal fashion. Knee ankle alignment, the other toes are straight forward, hips straight forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. As we open to our warrior two, our hips shifted open, side to side now. Check that front knee. Make sure it did not shift inward. Check to see you can see the big toe, lengthen through the arms. Looking over the front fingertips. Let's go ahead and inhale here. Lengthen through that front leg. We're setting up for our triangle pose. Let's hinge at the elbow for the back arm, hand on hip. So we keep the hips open. Hinge at the hips as we reach forward with that front arm. Continue with another breath as we reach forward. Let's exhale, release that arm. Inhale, bring that opposite arm upward. Keep the back lengthened, the back flat from tailbone all the way to the crown as we open the shoulders. Let's exhale, release that hand, arm, hinge that knee. As we hinge the knee, step the other leg forward. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, let's move it back into our chair pose. Hinge at knees, hinge at hips, reach that forward, keep that flat back. Take another breath here. And exhale, hinging back up. Inhale, reach up and over. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. We're going to move into one more balancing pose today. We want to move into our palm tree pose. This will be up on the balls of the feet and the heels lifted. And we'll be stretching the arms overhead. So let's make sure we find a place where it's safe and where we can get grounded here. Let's ground as we have hip width distance apart, soft knees, our abs tuck in, our shoulders are rolled back and relaxed. Let's start to concentrate or focus on a spot for our balance. As we start to inhale, open up through the hands, start to lift the heels up off the ground. As we lengthen the arms up and over, lifting those heels as high as we can, and then we're going to exhale, slowly bring it back to heart center as we release the heels back on the ground. Take a nice deep breath here, lifting now the toes. So we rocked back onto the heels and we're just lifting our toes up. And exhale, let's ground through the toes, gentle knees, strong legs, lifting up and over for palm tree. Exhale, bring it back to center, heart center, heels down, ground through the feet, lift the toes as we inhale. Exhale, toes come back into the ground, lift through the heels, start to open up those arms and inhale. Exhale, hands come back to heart, heels sink back into the ground, lifting toes as we inhale. Exhale, toes come back into the ground, starting to lift the heels, starting to inhale as we reach up and over. Let's keep it here for 2 more breaths, doing our best to balance. One more breath. And let's exhale, heels come back down, hands come back to heart center. Relaxing, let's go ahead and make fists for wrists. We're coming back into a camel-like stance. So it's hip width distance apart, soften the knees. And in fact, for the knees today, let's grab a block. Or we can grab a ball. Make sure it can still keep your hip width distance apart. We're going to bring it an inch or 2 above the knees into the inner thighs. Bring our hips back to hip width distance apart. Squeeze that block. As we squeeze that block, activating our inner thighs, our pelvic floor, let's also squeeze our glutes. Make fists for wrists, keep those knees soft, bring the fist for wrists into that low back and lift through the heart. And if you can, lift the gaze. Keep those glutes engaged, abs tucked in, knees soft, squeezing those inner thighs, and make sure that you can breathe in and out of the nose. Let's exhale, slowly coming out of that. As we come out of that, interlace the fingers. Take a nice deep inhale as we open and spread through the heart, the chest, the shoulders. We lift the heart. Let's exhale, hinge at the hips, coming right into our chest expansion as we fold forward. Hands interlaced, and lift the arms up off the back. Exhale, release that, hinge back. While we still have the brick here, hands on knees, hinging back right into our chair pose. Keep that back flat, keep those inner thighs engaged, and then bring the arms straight forward. Nice deep breaths here. And let's release, drawing up and over. Inhale. And exhale. Staying in tune with our breath. Let's release the block. Let's come back to the back part of the mat. We're going to slowly come down. So inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, forward fold. Soften those knees, bring the hands to the ground. Let's walk it out into our downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths here. And let's start to bring it into our plank pose. Take a nice deep breath. Let's draw the forearms and elbows in and bring ourselves hinging at the hips as we come slowly down into the mat through crocodile. From crocodile, we choose either baby cobra or we can come into full cobra. Either one, we roll the shoulders back, we squeeze the scapula together, we shine the heart forward, and we lengthen through the neck, through the crown. Let's exhale, slowly release. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, bring it all the way back into a child's pose. Make sure it's the comfortable child's pose for that end of class here. As we come back to our breath. And start to come back up. And as we come forward, we're coming all the way to our mat. We're getting ready for Shavasana. So make sure that we are comfortable. If we need pen and paper to allow some of our thoughts and ideas release onto that, it's fine to bring pen and paper. Make sure that we're nice and comfortable. Let's tuck our abs in, hang on to our knees, round through the back, and start to release all the way down. Starting to hug the knees into the chest. And let's hang on to the knees as we inhale and press the knees away. Expanding through the body. Exhale, let's draw the knees into chest. Inhale, extend and expand. And exhale, hang on to the knees. Start to bring the feet together for Utthana Baddha Konasana. And as we do this, we're just opening up into a butterfly. Slowly start to release the knees. Make sure that your back is firmly in the ground. As we slowly release, soles of the feet together, close to our body, knees open. Take a moment to relax with the knees open, releasing the tension through our inner thighs, our knees, our ankles. We can take the hands here and bring it right into the inner thighs and gently press open. Coming into the breath here as we inhale and exhale. Nice deep breaths here, recentering thoughts and focus back into our breath. One more breath here. And let's gently release. Release the hands from those inner thighs and even bring the hands back to the outer thighs and gently squeeze and start to contract the muscles as we bring it into knees bent. Feet come into hip width distance apart. Heels move towards our glutes. Let's bring the palms down and inhale into our modified bridge where we lift up. We try to squeeze those shoulder blades by walking them together, squeezing down and in, releasing those shoulders into the floor, then releasing the arms. Keeping the hips lifted, making sure we have that hip width distance apart, that we're not opening up or squeezing so tight that we're closed. We keep the hip width distance apart, hips lifted. Let's take another inhale and lift the hips higher. On our third inhale, let's lift the hips as high as we can. And let's exhale. We're going to slowly and gently release one vertebrae at a time as we breathe, tucking in the abs, releasing down slowly into the floor until we're all the way into the floor, relaxing the back. Let's take one knee and hug it to the chest. Let's rotate through that foot. Rotate opposite direction. And then as we release, let's cross that leg over the other leg. Releasing, opening arms. Let's continue with that leg that is crossed to move the same direction as we open up through the low back, keeping hands, palms open, keeping our shoulders grounded here, our head grounded. Nice deep breaths as we recenter our breath again. One more breath. Let's exhale, tighten those abs, keep the knees bent, come back to that first position. Let's release that leg all the way down into the sole of the foot, bent knee. Let's bring that opposite knee towards our chest and release the fingers and draw in. As we do, let's rotate through that foot, circumducting the ankle here and moving the opposite direction. And then when we're done, we cross the leg over, opening those arms, palms face up. As we exhale, the same leg that crossed over, we're moving that same direction. Slowly allowing the legs to move over. Twisting at the hips, the waist, as we keep the shoulders grounded, head grounded. And the arms. Exhale, let's slowly tighten the ab muscles and bring our leg back up into that first position, releasing the legs. Let's inhale, bring our palms back down to the ground, gently lift the glutes to bring the hands underneath, palms face the floor, set the glutes back on top of the hands. Exhale, draw knees to chest, flatten through the feet, and inhale, lengthen those legs up the wall. Our imaginary wall here as we lengthen through the knees, toes towards the nose, and we have our hands to protect that low back. Let's go ahead and inhale, straddle pose, keeping dorsiflex toes, abs tight. Exhale, slowly start to bring it back to hip width distance apart. Inhale, let's point the toes and bring one leg moving down towards the ground as the other leg points up towards the sky. And then slowly bring that leg moving back up, pointing towards the sky, as we slowly move the opposite leg down towards the ground, keeping toes pointed, strong abs, and length through the legs. Let's bring that leg all the way back up, pointing toes. Now dorsiflex by bringing toes towards the nose, hinge at the knees towards the chest. And then let's release the soles of the feet back into the ground. Inhale, lift the glutes slightly to release the hands. Exhale, releasing the back. Take a nice deep inhale here. Expanding through the body, let's exhale and give ourselves a hug. As we give ourselves a hug, we squeeze in tight. We can lift the head. We can rock side to side if it feels good. Make sure that you have all the cushions you need. Any kind of props you might need for our meditation. Now let's start to relax into Shavasana. Let's allow head, neck, shoulders to relax, palms facing up. Release those arms, the legs. Allow the legs to be open. Allow the feet to be open. Now let's come back into that breath, recentering once again, expanding through the abs, through the torso, and exhaling, we let go, moving deeper into the earth. Continuing to breathe here as we close the eyes and allow our focus to continue moving inward. Let's align our breath with our focus as we inhale from crown chakra all the way to the root. And as we exhale, we move from root chakra all the way up to the crown. We allow our eyes to be closed as we focus on this moment, this breath and energy, inhaling and exhaling. Imagine a ribbon that loops through the chakras from forward down to moving back and up. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take a moment and allow the body to relax as we bring ourselves inward, connecting to our true self. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling that flow of awareness move through our entire body. We allow the body to relax deeper into the earth. We feel the flow of energy as it moves through the chakras. And as we move into the breath, we're coming into our own personal silent mantra. And if we don't have a silent mantra, thinking of something positive, a phrase, a word, something you want to bring more awareness to, something you want to open up to and allow and align with. You can use the words I am. You can move that into Sanskrit with hum so, or maybe liberation, moksha. Allowing your silent mantra or your positive affirmation. With each inhale and exhale, we bring that in and out, just like the ribbon of rotation of our breath as it moves through the back of the chakras and through the front of the chakras. Each inhale, each exhale, we bring in our mantra. We keep our mantra and focus with our breath. Slowly starting to come back to the breath. Starting to release our silent mantra, our positive affirmation. And as we release our mantra, our positive affirmation, we come into a deeper breath for a moment as we start to bring that breath all the way through the body, from head to toes and toes to head. We start opening our awarenesses back to the room. And as we do, we might open the eyes, we might just bring movement to the body. Maybe wiggling the fingers, the toes. Knowing we can take this piece with us throughout the day. And let's move gently to our side in fetal position. Knees are bent. We can relax here for a moment. And when you are ready, let's press through our palms of our hands, using that arm strength to press us away from the earth as we come all the way back up into our sitting position. Nice deep breaths here. Feeling grounded once again and ready to take on the day. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.